Pythagorean Theorem. So the Pythagorean Theorem states that the sum of the square of the length of the two legs is equal to the square of the hypotenuse's length. What does this really mean though? Let's go ahead and just write out this. So if, right, A and B are the legs and C is the hypotenuse, and so we would go A squared plus B squared, which is equal to C squared. So that's what this means, but that's kind of, well, it doesn't really make sense. So let's go ahead and draw this out. So we have A, we have B, and we have C. So if we had A, and let's go ahead and just say A is equal to 3. So that means we can go ahead and draw the area right here, which is 3 squared. So that equals 9, right? So we have 3 on this side and then say 3 on this side, right? And then B, if this was B is equal to 4, and it's not going to be completely to scale, but you can see how this is 4, right, across and 4 down. So B squared, right, so B is 4. And then C, didn't draw this well. If we had C is equal to 5, so let's take that back and go there. It's not done well. But you can see that it's 5 across and 5 deep, right? Or the length is 5 and then the width is 5. So C is equal to 5. So let's go ahead and plug in these numbers, right? So A then is 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to 5 squared. So you can see that it's like this whole area that we're talking about right here, right? So this is equal to 25, right? So if we were to write that out, that's equal to 25. Then this 3, right, this whole area here is equal to 9. So we have 9 on this side. And then B, which is 4, and then 4 squared, we're going to have 16. So you can see how 9 plus 16 is equal to 25, which is equal to the right-hand side. So that's 25 is equal to 25, and we can see that. So what we're saying is that these two areas, based upon the lengths, right, we just square them and find the areas of those sides, is equal to the area of, see, this length times, right, squared. So these areas, or the square lengths of these two legs, is equal to, right, the square of the hypotenuse length. So that's what this means, is that all of this can be added up, the legs to be added up to the square of the hypotenuse's leg, or hypotenuse length, as we call it, not leg. So let's take note of a few things. So what do we notice here? Well, this means the hypotenuse length is always the longest length. So that's really important. 2, if we know 2 lengths, we can find the third. So that's really helpful. And this is for right angle triangles. So now let's kind of go look at some examples here. So example 1, if there's a triangle with the side lengths of 9, 12, and 15, is this a right angle triangle? Well, what we're going to be using is the Pythagorean Theorem to figure this out. So notice we have 3 lengths, and we know our hypotenuse is always the longest length. So 15 is going to be our hypotenuse, is what we're going to say. So we're going to go 9 squared plus 12 squared is equal to 15 squared, right? So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So we said a was 9, b is 12, which these can be obviously interchanged. A could equal 12, b could equal 9, but we just said it in order. And then c, which is the hypotenuse, has to be the longest length. So that's really important. So then all we have to do is just solve for this to see if this is equal to each other. And then we can figure out if this is a right angle triangle with this. So 9 squared, what's that? Well, that is 81 plus 12 squared. So 12 times 12 is 144. And then 15 squared is 225. So instead of just getting a calculator out, let's just go do this really quick over here. 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 8 is 2. Carry the 1 as we have a 12. And then we get just 2. So 225 is equal to 225. So this checks out. So we would say that this triangle is a right angle triangle based upon the Pythagorean theorem. Now let's look at another example. So example 2 is the triangle with the side lengths of 4, 6, and 8. Is this a right triangle? Well, if A is 4, B is 6, and C must be the longest length, which is 8. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 4 squared plus 6 squared equals 8 squared. Well, 4 squared is 4 times 4, so that's 16. And then 6 times 6 is 36. And 8 times 8 is 64. Well, if we add 16 plus 36, that's 52. And then we can ask, does that equal 64? And the case is, it does not equal this. So this is no, because these are not equal. So this is not a right angle triangle.